Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
All right. What is the deal? Y'all, this is Nova Phoenix. I'm your host on GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio, and I'm here again. What is the deal, man? How's your week been? Have you been keeping your eyes glued on the TV? Have you been decompressing? Have you been trying to stay sane in all of this madness that's going on around us? I certainly am. I try to stay tuned in, and then I gotta turn off, because then I gotta have my own peace of mind. Because continuously to consume this information can really do a job on your own sanity. So we're dealing with COVID. We're dealing with the protests that's going on around the country. We're dealing with all this talk about what the police departments are doing from one coast to another. We are dealing with a lot, man. What a year 2020 is, man. If 2019 you would have told me 2020 like this, oh man, I wish I was not Scott Baio. Who's that other dude? Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. Let me just fast forward into 2022, goddammit. Because this is heavy. 2020 is heavy, man, I'm telling you. Oh, I don't know. Yo, listen. But we're going to make it through. This is what I call growing pains. The country is going through some growing pains. If we are going to step into the 21st century as a new type of nation of what so many people want, this is what it is. This is what's going to take us into the 21st century, man. And hopefully that people side with justice and people side with fairness and equality and balance, and we can move with that, man. And that goes for all people, and not just Americans, but every human around the world. Yeah, man. All right, let's get this going. So, all right. First up to bat, what did I see this week, or last week, that is? Dave Chappelle, man. Dave Chappelle. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. Let's give a clap to my man Dave Chappelle, a genius comic, genius in every way. He did a short comedy on Netflix, YouTube channel. I didn't even know Netflix had a YouTube channel until I read it somewhere online. It's Netflix is a joke, and it is called 8:46. I think it's 8 minutes 46 seconds. The amount of time that George Floyd, the amount of time that the officer had his knee on George Floyd's neck, which ended up with George Floyd dying. And it was deep, man. It was deep, and let me tell you something. The only time I've seen something like this, when George Carlin, a genius comic, but this man he wanted to do jokes, but this is just something that was on his mind. And let me tell you, I can't even think of the words. I would have to actually think of it, sit down and write it to really give my description of Dave Chappelle. But the man, short of that, let's just say he's a genius, man. So if anybody hasn't seen it, please go to Netflix is a joke on their YouTube channel and check out that 27-minute piece that he did in the state of Ohio. I think he's from Ohio. What else happened? Rayshard Brooks. If I'm sure at this moment people know who Rayshard Brooks is. He was another man. You think people would learn. You think half the country is burning. Everybody is from east to west coast is up in arms. Protests and police brutality, systemic racism, and all types of companies are coming. I'm telling you, everybody's Black Lives Matter. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon of Black Lives Matter. So you would think that cops would be more careful in how they are treating the people that they are quote unquote policing. So Rayshard Brooks, unfortunately, is another brother that died in Atlanta. He was inebriated drunk in his car. Someone from Wendy's called the police just to check out this man because they saw someone sleeping in their car. So turns out this man was drunk. And the thing that gets me is that they show up, they're talking to this guy because the body cam footage came out. So they're doing the typical, situation, talking to the man, and obviously he's drunk. And I so wanted, like, me watching this video, I so wanted it to be like one of those funny cop joints where the guy is drunk and and you think it's gonna end in a funny moment, but the reality is it doesn't. They ask him questions, they go get a breathalyzer, and they say you're under arrest. The guy fights it off and then he runs off, gets away from their grasp, and these motherfuckers shot him in the back. Ends up dead. People protest, they shut down one of the highways, and Wendy's ends up burning. Now, that's even a question, we'll come to that later. But when you see this video, you see that this man was drunk. It could have easily went in another way. If Rayshard Brooks was white, they would have simply said, "Oh man, you're drunk. That's cool. That's a good decision you made, Mr. Brooks. You could sleep it off. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Sleep it off. That's the best thing you could do because you don't want to put your life or anyone else's life in danger if you're driving. So yeah, sleep it off. Sorry for interrupting." Or they could have been like, "Oh, you know what? We understand. We're concerned about your situation. Well, let me see if we can call you an Uber. Oh, let me see if we can give you a drive home, pick up your car tomorrow," or something like that. You think that could have went like that because that's how it's supposed to happen. But you know what? They didn't have that in mind. They was just looking for an excuse. And Rayshard Brooks ends up dead. Now, they get into a tussle. They got bested by a drunk dude. Two white cops got bested by a drunk dude. He gets the taser out of his hand, and then he runs off. These motherfuckers felt slighted that he got the best of them, pulled out their weapon and took 2 shots off. Then another witness comes later and says, "You know what? They didn't even go to Rayshard Brooks. You know what they did? Is from what I hear, they put on gloves and they picked up the shell casings. They'd rather spend their time picking up the shell casings than going to this man. They wanted this man dead." Now, how does a choice happen like that? Because you got bested by a drunk dude, the next choice was to shoot him dead? That was the choice? That was what the options that you rolled over in your brain. This guy got the best of me. He got my taser. I'm going to shoot him dead. They didn't have to do that. You know what's funny? They had his car. They could have easily took his life. He wasn't going nowhere. He was drunk. Drunk people don't make the right decisions. They could have took his license plate. They could have wrote it down. They could have gave him a fat ticket. They could have arrested him later, ended him out of his house. It could have went 20 different ways, but not with him dead. That's why we're talking about defund the police. There's no reform, no training. You can't get that out of your mind. You cannot train someone out of that mindset. The only thing you could do is punish. And where do you punish? You punish in the pocket. You can't punish in the pocket. We can't get that legislation through. Then you got to defund the police. Because obviously they can't do it. Now back to this Wendy's burning. So I'm like, hey, well, that people are mad. I got nothing against these folks burning down at Wendy's. And then you go online, you go to social media, and then somebody's saying, "That's not us. That's not us shooting that. That's not us." And they zoom in with their camera phone, whatever they're using, and it's some white woman trying to light Wendy's on fire. And another person, a white woman that was dressed in all black, trying to set the Wendy's on fire. Well, let me just say this. It was a still photo of an individual dressed in black, covered face, all black clothes, whatever. The other video, or the video that I'm mentioning, is they actually zoomed in and saw the lady lighting something against the Wendy's building. So, what's going on here? And I'll go on a little bit later with defund the police. Unfortunately, Rayshard Brooks, rest in peace, and I'm tired of saying that. I'm so tired of saying that. So what else going on? So everybody's on the BLM. Everybody's Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about Coca-Cola, Cadillac. Everybody's on the bandwagon. So you know what? It's cool. I understand. That's all right. You know what? However it comes, right? You support Black Lives Matter. But then I started thinking, okay, wait a second. This is getting too commercial now. And we know, we're all old enough. We're very aware of when somebody's trying to pull a trick bag. When somebody's trying to cover the tracks, and not some company. So everybody's putting out their like fancy, now glossy Black Lives Matter IG account posts and everything like that, and putting out, it's all PR. So are they trying to save their ass? Is that what's happening? Are they trying to protect themselves once people turn the protests into more of an organized, strategic tool to go against any companies that don't support Black Lives Matter? They're cutting it off at the past. I'm sure some of them are pandering. I'm sure, right? I totally get it. But I'm not going for it. So much so that one company, I forgot the name of the company, and you know what, that's how my memory goes. I think of something and then it pops out of my head. One company actually was like, you know what, we support Black Lives Matter so much. What we're going to do, I think it was some store, they was like, all right, we're going to open up the beauty products. Instead of locking them, we're going to open it up to people because we support. Get the fuck out of here. Whatever company that was. I forget. But what happened was this store was locking black beauty products behind the glass cabinet. So they felt like, in order to be more than just a post of Black Lives Matter, we're going to open up the beauty products so all our black customers is, get the fuck out of here with that. I don't give a fuck about beauty products. That's your way of helping black people deal with systemic racism. We're gonna open up the glass cabinets. Yeah, right? Sure. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. All right. Well, our customers will love that. Black Lives Matter. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care about beauty products, man. Yo, people are so tone deaf, so ridiculous with how they deal. You know they ain't had no black people. You just know when a company does something to try to support Black Lives Matter, you hear it. It's almost like when we saw, what's her name? Nancy Pelosi and that jagoff, Chuck Schumer, put on, with everybody else putting on kente cloth. Oh, I was like, yo, what are they gonna do now? Throw a basketball in Nancy Pelosi's hand? She gonna post up against Chuck Schumer and be like, dunk on him and be like, yeah, fool, Black Lives Matter. What? Pandering? But we're past that. Whatever, right? And some of these companies are so fucking tone deaf. Like, cut a check, man. How about that? You want to help black people? Cut a check. Or why don't you pay their taxes, their sales tax? That's another good thing. Donate to, I don't know, start a grant or something for small business. Do something. I don't give a damn. No, you're going to unlock the glass cabinet and make it open to black. Man, shut the fuck up. Anyway, and the other thing was the NFL. Roger Goodell. Good old Roger Goodell. So they have the balls, the cojones, enough hair on their scrotum sack for Roger Goodell to actually say they support Black Lives Matter. What's happening? Yo, bro, you can't say anything. You can't, Roger, you can't say anything. Shut up. Take your ass somewhere. Okay? Really? Really? That's what we talking about? You're going to actually do we support BLM, man. Dude, you ostracized fucking Colin Kaepernick. You ostracized him. All right? And you whiteballed him. And then on top of that, when they painted you in a corner, NFL, he was like, okay, we'll give him a tryout. You put on some stupid stunt so we could sign some agreement where he wouldn't be able to sue the NFL or whatever it was. And people saw right through that. And now you want to come here when damn near the whole globe is supporting Black Lives Matter with all the protests going on. You got the balls to get in front of a camera and talk about, we support Black Lives Matter. Nigga, shut the fuck up. Somebody backsway this dude. We don't believe you no more, man. We don't believe the NFL or whatever they do. See, my question is, okay, now what's the next step? See, because I'm sour. because if I was an athlete, I'm just sour right now. I'm like, how do I not? Because I don't want to participate in your shit no more. When it comes to the owners, everybody involved in the offices of the NFL, like, how do I do this? Can we start a Negro League or something like that, like how it was back in the day with baseball? Can we do like a African American league of how the XFL was, but they tanked? But somebody do something. I'm tired of this shit, and we'll make it out where people can make their money. You know what I mean? But that's logistically, it's hard. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna create another football stadium, and that's the whole other part. But something, man, because it's damn near disrespectful how the NFL was acting. Damn near like, you really think people are that stupid? Insulting. It really is, man. Insulting. So then, so now the other thing that's going on, unfortunately. I even forgot to mention, along with Rayshard Brooks, also there was a brother, Robert Fuller, in Palmdale, California. He also mysteriously was hung in Palmdale, California. And then they're saying, the investigators are saying, well, it's an apparent suicide. It looks like a suicide. Wait, come on. Wait, ho. This is my thing. And I'm not going to talk about this for too long. This is how I'm going to lay it down. So my gut feeling is, I don't have any evidence of what happened. He could have been suicidal, whatever. But let me tell you, as a black man, as who I know from the culture that I come from, if you're dealing with suicide people, my gut, no evidence, I'm just saying my gut feeling is he did not. Because people that when it comes to black people commit suicide, we don't do the hanging thing. We don't. It's just not something that black people do. And I could be totally wrong. I'm just saying my gut feeling. I'm saying this. So this brother somehow mysteriously ends up hung. So yeah. So the people are upset. Yeah, hopefully they do something, because, in Palmdale, Florida, and California, they might get turned up. It should get turned up. It should get turned up. Everybody in Palm, I don't even know who lives in Palmdale, Florida. But this goes to show, I got to tell you, black folk, listen, do not walk by yourself. If you live in a state where you can open carry, I suggest you get strapped up, hold on to something. This is, right now, it's critical. We're living in critical times. You live in a state where you can open carry, man. Don't give a damn. You best protect yourself, all right? And then walk in groups, minimum 2 people. Don't walk by yourself. Brothers included. Because you got some race soldiers out there that are mad because people are supporting Black Lives Matter, and we're changing things around, and Confederate statues are getting torn down. They feel upset. So you have to be careful. I am telling you, black people, be careful out there. You gotta come strapped. Now, and please don't do any crying. Look, I saw a video of this brother. He was a FedEx. He was driving his FedEx truck, doing his shift. All of a sudden, I guess he was blocking somebody behind him. The guy races up from behind him to pass him, and he shouts out the N-word and spits at him. The guy was so upset, he started crying on video. So I'm tired of this hate. Why? Where does this hate come from? I got white people in my family, or white mother. I don't know what he said. Now, I felt for the brother, no doubt. I felt for him. But you know what? Wipe your tears. I would hug the brother, no doubt. I feel the pain. I will never try to devalue someone's reaction to something that was so hateful. But then I would say, all right, brother, dry them tears. We riding. Understand what I'm saying? Now, me, I know me. I would have lost my job, because I would have hopped in, I would have got behind that wheel of that FedEx truck, I would have chased that motherfucker down, and then I would have been like, then what, motherfucker? Say that to me again. Because that's not how I react. So, black people, do what you need to do to protect yourself, man. Because there's some individuals out there that are a little upset, and then they just want to act out of upsetness. Okay, what's the other thing? Let's end this quick, and we'll move on to the. I only have 2 topics for this show. I usually do with 3, but I only have 2 more topics. So we'll get into some music right after that. 2 more things. So, voting issues in Atlanta. We had some voting issues. They were long, extra long lines. in Atlanta for the primary. People sat there for like 4 hours. Listen, don't let anybody take your ability to vote. Now, there are some people that I've seen, because I watch a lot of news, a lot of different people, because I try to get the understanding, the feel of how people are interpreting this information, what strategy black people are going to take, whether they like voting, whether they don't like voting. Some people say they don't like to vote. I think it's stupid. That's my personal feeling. I'll get into that later. But at the very, I could say, listen, you vote. You go out there and vote. Use it. You people spilled blood on this soil in this country for you to vote. You do not disrespect them. You go ahead and you vote. Now, if you don't feel like voting is going to work for you, then do something that you could put your vote towards. Build the infrastructure if you have to, a third, fourth party, but put your vote to something, because people died for you to vote. So they got to finish that. Said there was some kind of legislation that was put forth to, for people to, I think they discontinued people's ability to mail in their vote ballots, or mail in to do the mail-in balloting voting thing. And they discontinued the length of time, the time ahead that you put it in. Of course, these are techniques or methods that they're going to use to keep you from voting. Now, I simply put it like this. If voting didn't work, if it didn't work at all, why would they go through all this trouble to stop you from voting? If voting truly didn't work, they wouldn't care. Because, of course, the other conversation is the electoral college, the electoral votes. A lot of people say, well, the popular vote don't work because the electoral votes take it. Now, if the electoral votes were so solid and the popular vote didn't matter, why would the people in power care if you voted or not, wherever your vote's going to go? So this is how I take it. Your vote matters, because they wouldn't try so hard. Okay? All right, I think that's it. I think we're going to move on to the first few songs here. What do we got? All right, so we got, we'll play Quiche. It's a replay of Quiche coming back with his song again. I think that was a tight song. I loved it. I'm going to play that joint again, put it back in rotation. And then the next artist is S.B. This brother's song is called You Soft. I like the vibe. So check this out. Quiche coming back with again, and then S.B. My man's holding it down with his own style. You soft. So we'll be back. All right, peace.
You heard it here first, folks. Where else can you hear the latest? You know the show. Say it.
Turn it up. GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, SB, Ziggy Zound. Oozing with confidence, school of rap, full scholarship, shining room, full of trophies, just polished them, competition, bulldozed, I demolished them, then I hypnotized your girls, I Biggie Wallace them, pussy be picking the curb, be taking the bat, just to get dirty, I'm unemployed but I got work in Jersey, she know I ball, she got on my jersey, stay with the Texas, they know that I'm nerdy, mixing my buzz, that be a swirly, moving the rock, my nigga talk girly, shaking the block, feeds her burly, I'm trying to get this money that stretches longer than Luffy, heard these niggas think I'm tripping, but haven't tripped on my Lucy. Man, my music all original, making it hard to sue me. Yeah, they know that I'm a driver. The industry wanna screw me. Coming straight from the source. You ain't made for the sauce. Everybody think they league till they ass to get crossed. My niggas fucking run up on you for your links and your cross. Traded in for a couple used pistols and soft. You soft. Nigga, you soft.
You soft. You soft. Yeah, they fucking soft, nigga. Hey, what you need in life? This shit for a reason, right? To open doors of opportunity, you need the key to life. Yeah, I can see the light. See you got some cellulite. Girl, you so fucking fine, I add you to my appetite. Wait, that wasn't polite. Bitch, you like some dynamite. Wait, that wasn't polite. You tryna get some dick tonight? My grandpa was an Israelite. Met him in my afterlife. Someone tell Will Smith I'm a fucking bright. Out of mind, out of sight. Where your favorite rapper been? Heard he got a dick, but he pussy, that's hermaphrodite. Parasite, try to pull my card, I'm a dragonite. Bro, God, bro, I'm like a god, I'm a B.I. She run me down like a king, coconut oil, I'm a well-oiled machine. Life is but a dream, put my third eye in team, everything ain't what it seems. Silver lining on my cloud, golden stitches on my scene. Tryna show the people like they vampires to the beam. Seen the roses in the sea, may watch them blast up in the spring. But my motherfucking calling, I'm just waiting for the ring.
Okay, that was Keish with Again and SB with You Soft, man. So how you like those joints? I love them. So shout out to those two great artists, and I'm looking forward for more. And I do have some more music. Some artists that has hit me up with some fresh joints, and that's what I like, man. Keep me in the loop of any new music that you're doing. It is dope. Of course, that's dope, and you're not gonna release anything that's corny. But yeah, man, keep on hitting me with the music. So I appreciate Ricardo, and he'll be coming in later with the show. All right, so what is going on for this segment that we're doing? And wait a second, because there's less segments, I gotta do business of the week. What am I talking about? All right, so let's get into business of the week, and we'll continue on with the segment. All right, listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, for that girl.
Bringing you the business of the week and its innovative founders. It's what you've been waiting for.
There are a lot of hair care brands that are questionable in their ingredients. One in particular has a serious lawsuit for negatively affecting their customers' precious locks. Where can you go where the owner cares for the customer's luscious crown? Well, you can ask Whitney and Tafetta White. They are the founders of MelaninHairCare.com. The company started in 2015 with the idea of making products on a larger scale with a homemade sentiment that's natural and safe. It took them 6 years to find the right manufacturers with the right attitude and ability to help create the correct mixture of ingredients for the best effect. Lyfeblood.com would like to salute Melanin Hair Care with all their creams, oil blends, and conditioners that'll set melanated hair to the right suppleness and style to show on the streets of everywhere. Okay. Yeah, that was business of the week. Shout out to those two lovely ladies, and big ups to their endeavor with their hair care products. All right, so my question is to you all out there, everybody that's listening in the United States, who you voting for? Who are you voting for? Who are you voting for? All right, because November is around the corner, and a lot of things is happening right now. We're dealing with, as I said before, we're dealing with COVID, and we're dealing with this, the protests. People are up in arms. There's a lot of things going on. Oh my God, it's like, is this the fifth plague? Because it's real. But we have to keep things in perspective because this is a presidential voting year. This is the season. Who are you voting for? I want to know. And for all those Trump lovers out there that's listening to this show right now, just having something to stir your anger. Yeah, man. The orange coconut, I don't think is going to last. That's my personal feeling. There's a lot of things that's happening right now. A lot of things. You have the COVID, mishandling of that. You having the unrest that's happening in this country and his terrible job trying to handle that as the commander-in-chief. He just totally threw that out the window. He don't give a fuck. He's not handling that, right? You have an economy that's being tanked because of COVID. He's not dealing with that well. And by the way, speaking of Trump, so I see him he has an IG account. So this guy was at West Point. All right, I've been to West Point once when I was much younger, and he was there doing his speech for all the West Point graduates. Let me tell you something. To all the people, especially the West Point people that's listening to the show, from the faculty down to the young brothers and sisters that have gone to do West Point, let me tell you something to get their career going in the military. Let me tell you something. Trump does not care about you. He does not care. He does not care what you do. You know who Trump cares about? He cares about himself. He cares about the deals that can benefit him. Literally, if that was 1% sliver of the whole 100% pie, that's the only thing he's concentrating on. He literally doesn't care about anything else as long as it works to his favor. He'll do it. He'll be a snake oil salesman, and he'll go up and he'll read that thing. But I guarantee you, he'll forget about you as soon as he leaves the property of West Point. He literally does not care. He does not care. I think this is like the only a president or a person in the presidency that I'm 100% sure everything that he does it because he has to. Not that he wants to, not that he has an emotional tie to it, not that there's a moral connection to this one specific thing that he's involved. No, he literally does not care. It bores him. The only thing he cares about is how much attention he's getting on TV. He's a snake oil salesman. He's a car salesman. He's a showman. He can't concern himself with that. Anything he sells is more than TV that requires him to actually use brain cells. That's where you lose him. Okay? But who you voting for? I know who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Trump. Nah, I'm playing. Crazy? Yeah, man, I'm voting for Biden. A lot of people be like, why are you voting for Biden? Oh, man, those intellectual, those woke people. Oh, I can hear them now. How are you going to vote for Biden? Oh, my God. You know he does. I know, man. I don't concern myself with the trivialities. I don't concern myself with all the politics, the surface politics. I don't care about that. I know what politics is in this country. I don't care. I know Biden's the drafter of the 94 crime bill. He literally was the architect of throwing black people in jail. He was the architect, and he has everybody else involved with that. And he'll say to you today, when you throw it in his face, he'll say, well, you know what? What was I thinking? I wasn't fully educated on the matter, and I pushed through it. I'm sorry. Okay, fuck your sorries. I don't care about your sorries. Now, what are you going to do to counter that 94 crime bill? Stop giving me sorries. Stop telling me the things that you finally realized were wrong, and you threw in 500,000 black people in jail that you didn't have to do, and then you're going to leave me with a sorry? Yo, here's a fat middle finger for you. Now, what are you going to do to get these people out? So my thing is, I really don't care who Biden is. What I care about is getting this orange coconut out of the fucking office. I despise this man. I can't say that for much people. Because I forget the racism part. The guy is inept. There should be no reason why he should be sitting in that fat leather chair. There's no reason. The main big head honcho, big cheese chair, that she should be nowhere close to that. Okay? I want to get him out of there. And a lot of people will say like, well, you know, why are you voting for him? Because Biden's the same way. It's two wings to the same bird. Yeah, I get it. But to me, it's symbolic. To me, to vote out Trump, to get him out, is symbolic. It says, America says, we will not stand for it anymore. We will not continue how this country is run by the man that we have to look at every day on our evening news. We will not stand for racism. We will not stand for white supremacy. We will not stand for anything that treats citizens less than. And what we're going to do is move this country forward. We are going to be concerned, and our primary focus is justice and equality. And to vote out Trump is significant. It's a significant step towards moving this country in the right direction. It is symbolic. Now, do we also deal with corruption on the other side of the Democrats? Sure, but we will deal with it as it comes. And I'm not saying love it, huggy, all right, hey, Biden, and put my cheek to cheek. Let's do this together. That kumbaya is out the window now. Now, we will deal with you now. And we will continue to put the foot on the neck of these people to make sure that justice is put into place. Okay? And we will move strategically. The people. Because it's just not a race thing, man. It's also an access thing. It's also the fact that a chosen few people are making out at the majority of the wealth that's generated goes to the few, the 1%. And it's just not black people suffering. It's also white Americans in this country that's suffering. Okay? And they're going for the okie doke. And that was the trick bag with Trump and his base. Well, you don't worry about it. You're white. I'll take care of you. But all the while, you're still getting jerked. Because the people that are voting and cheering and pumping their fists for Trump are in states that are seriously lacking in financial support. They have a serious problem as far as the health of their community. When it comes to healthcare, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to job training, all those typical things that we use as talking points when pundits are talking to people on 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Everything that you need to have as a healthy society, these red states don't have it. They are sitting in mud cheering on Trump because he is bolstering their whiteness or what they feel about their own whiteness. So you say, well, why should I care about people? Because, you know, my thing is, I see it like this. If you don't concern yourself with the other man and the other man is hurting, that karmic energy can come right back behind you and bite you in the ass. Even if I'm not saying kumbaya, I'm saying you give what someone else needs so they can leave you alone. Hey, I'm not trying to take it from you. That's not 100% now. You can still have some demonic people that, you know, that believe in dominance and all that. But what I'm saying is you have your peace, you leave me alone. Because as soon as you see it as in some way me taking away what you have, then all of a sudden you're creating an enemy in your mind. Now I got to deal with you. You know what I mean? So I never want to take away someone's ability to have life, liberty, and happiness. You go ahead and you do your thing, but I'm going to do what I got to do for my people. Okay? So, you know, you got this whole thing with Nancy Pelosi, as I was making a crack about that, you know, and they got this bill going, you know, because everybody's acting all crazy, you know. These people are revolting. What are we going to do about this, guys? We got to calm the masses because they're going to keep going. And if people are protesting and doing all these things, we can't make money. All right. I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find this article I opened as far as what they had in this bill. So they did the Wakanda kneel with the kente cloth on. This is on CNBC. So everybody's in solidarity, whatever. So here's some of what the congressional Democrats are saying for this bill. They're saying reform qualified immunity for officers, making it easier for people whose constitutional rights were violated to recover damages. Okay, that's cool. I'm with that. All right. Change the federal standard of criminal police behavior from willful to acting knowingly or with reckless disregard to address the difficulty of prosecuting officers. Okay, I'll get back to that. Start a federal registry of police misconduct and require states to report use of force to the U.S. Justice Department. What does that mean? That means nothing. Ban police use of chokeholds and carotid holds and condition funding for state and local departments of barring fact. Okay, I'm with that because that leads to death. Stop the use of no-knock search warrants in drug cases in the United States while also making state and local money contingent on stopping use of the warrants. I'm with that because of course of Breonna Taylor. Those guys still haven't gotten arrested, by the way. They passed a Breonna Taylor law. There's no more no-knock warrants, but yet the people that did the no-knock warrant that ended up killing Breonna Taylor and injuring her husband or boyfriend, whoever, they're still walking around. They're on death duty somewhere. No, those guys need to get fired and they need jail time. That needs to happen. Justice, that's what I'm talking about. What else is going on? Give the Justice Department subpoena power to carry out pattern and practice investigations into police department conduct. That may sound good, but then as far as what Trump is trying to do with the Supreme Court, I think it's a majority of Republicans there. We may not have. See, the thing is, to go to the highest court, it may be compromised already. And having circuit court judges in place of the Trump's picks, that also there is some compromise. That's compromised as well. So, but the good thing about circuit court judges is that they only have X amount of years as a judge, so you got to vote those people out or whatever, as far as the process is concerned. But leaving it now, expecting to get justice from the Supreme Court, I think that may be a problem. But it depends on the case, I guess. I don't know. But I don't have much faith in the Supreme Court at this point. Okay, what else we got? Provide state attorney general with grants to carry out pattern and practice probes and create a process for independent investigations into use of force. No, that's not going to work. Provide state attorney generals. Attorney generals work with the cops. They work with the cops. You don't need to put that power in the attorney general's hand. That's not going to work. Attorney generals, DAs, the prosecutors, everyone involved, they're all in on it. How do I know? Go to what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. Everybody is involved. Everybody's complicit. Police officers, DAs, prosecutors, attorney generals, all of them. Required training on racial bias and implicit bias at the federal level and condition state and local funding on offer. That's bullshit too. Ain't no training gonna help that. And the more and more I see this, especially what happened to my young brother, Rayshard Brooks, you can't train out racism. You have to punish racism. You can't train it out of someone. You have to punish them. Curb transfers of military-grade weapons to state and local police, which I agree with. Take it away. They're saying that, I think it's hate. I'm messing it up, and I'm gonna get this right. All right, so what we have, I forgot what it was, but it's the law that says the military cannot intervene in American citizens. I forgot the name of that law. Okay, so you have Posse Comitatus Act. the Insurrection Act of 1807, the United States federal law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy U.S. military and federalize. But that's what Trump was trying to use. But you have the Posse Comitatus Act that they cannot, the United States government cannot send in federal military troops to use against American citizens. Now, correct me if I'm wrong if that's the case. So anyway, so you have the Posse Comitatus Act. So you can't send in the military, but what you can do is militarize the police. And that's essentially what's taking place, because you see this police with tanks. And let me tell you, I mean, they look like straight Navy SEALs, blue Navy SEALs. The way they're dealing with protesters is amazing. So that's good in that sense. But this is what I'm talking about, what they're missing that they're not adding. Punishment. P, capital P, punishment. You got to punish these motherfuckers. You got to send them to jail for a long time. You have to have their records, which I do believe in, the transparency, seeing their records for the last 25 years, but you have to punish. You shouldn't even have to wait 25 years. By the third time, you have some extreme gross negligence and police and over-policing or aggression towards an American citizen, your badge gets taken, your gun gets taken, and depending on what took place, your pension gets eaten. Punishment. Nobody's talking about punishment. Everybody's playing footsies with reform, training, investigation, and all this roundabout bullshit talk. Punishment. That goes for every governor, every mayor across the city. We need punishment. This white brother, I forgot his name, man. Forgive me if I forgot this brother's name. I'm gonna find it right now. Man, shot. I'm trying to type fast. This guy got shot. I forgot. Daniel Shaver. This man, Daniel Shaver. That's what I'm talking about. Punishment. What black man go through in this country. And I'm talking about this particular case. It is gross negligence of your duties and your powers as a police officer. Daniel Shaver had a little pellet gun to shoot birds because he was a what do you call those folks? Oh my God, the pest control guys. Somebody saw him with this thing in the window. They went to this dude. They called the cops. Cops came with full gear. This guy had a semi-automatic rifle ready to lay down a whole group of people. The way he was talking to Daniel Shaver, Shaver was shook, man. Shaver was shook. This dude was crying. He was like, oh my God, he did not want to die. And the way this cop was totally disregarding this man's emotion and ending up shooting him because the guy was so nervous, crying, his shorts was falling off of him or whatever, his running pants. He tried to pull out and all of us pull that pants up. And what happened when he was crawling? This fucking guy shot him. This cop shot him. I mean, lit him up. Not shot him once, but lit him up with that semi-auto. This is what I'm talking about. Punishment. 25 years. And they're always talking about bad apples in the police department. Yeah, and it's funny. Somebody said this. I think Dave Chappelle said this, and one of the comedians said this. You can't have bad apples in the airlines. The CEO of any airlines is not going to say, "Oh, we have a couple of bad apples." Nobody is going for that. You best to know how to take off and land this goddamn plane when you got people in this plane. There's no such thing as saying bad apples in the airline business. So how can we say, oh, there's a couple of bad apples in police departments? Because people are dying. That is the responsibility for that job is, you got to be of sound mind and body. You can't be some jerk off that has an ego trip or been bullied when he was younger. All of a sudden he feels like he could put a badge on and now he could do whatever he wants because he has a state or a city behind him. No. Punishment. So yeah, I don't want no lip service, man. Unless we talking about, yo, keep the heat, everybody. Keep the heat going, man. We got to have some federal bills put into place. We got to have city, state, supported by the state, these bills put in place where we're going to put in punishment in these deals and or defund the police. Okay. Now, one last thing before I say. Of course, you also got to review police contracts and everything like that. You know what's funny? I just read about Derek Chauvin, this motherfucker. This guy's still eligible, as I said, as far as it should hit pensions. And on my last show, this guy's still eligible to receive his $1 million pension. Nah, you got to cut that. No, he don't get that. He don't get that. That's what I'm talking about. Punishment. Let me tell you, if officers found out that their pensions will be affected by specific cases where it'll be eaten away 10%, 15%, 25%, let me tell you, you will reduce killings by cops down to 0. And a little clarity that I want to give as far as what I said for the American Freedom Economic Freedom Project, where I said tickets, you know, if whatever PDs threaten not to patrol areas or to not ticket, I know that's one way for the city to make money, but I'm not expecting to have a private security that's a community security force or whatever it is to police the neighborhood or protect the neighborhood. I am no way saying that in whatever way that this manifests or this is constructed, whether it's private security forces by the community, given contracts by the city, in no way should I say we should replace the police force with a private security company that's going to continue ticketing. Because ticketing is used to drain the finance of a community and to channel it and funnel it into the city. No, eliminate that. We're not doing that. Again, we need a total restructuring of what public safety is for communities, for troubled communities, wherever they are. I'm going to do, of course, we're going to defund and reallocate some funding into services that's going to revitalize the community. So we're not going to have some proxy police force privatized and it's still going to terrorize the people. We're not going to do that. The choices has to be made by the community, not you, not some jerk off that has a security company. It has to be cleared by the community, and it has to be run, if we're going in that direction, it has to be by owners. The owners of these private security companies have to be from the community, not from West Bubblefuck 2 counties over. And we're dealing with the same shit, racist shit. They have to be in the community. Okay. Or another way you could do it, you could set up some legislation. And I know I said funding. I'm trying to figure out where that funding will come in as far as unions are concerned. Probably to ensure, and one way is to ensure police officers. I forgot this brother comedian was talking about one way so you can, because I'm looking at all options. All the options are on the table. I'm trying to figure out what's the best one. And yeah, so one comedian by the name is Gregory was interviewed by this one guy. And he had an interesting take, and he said, draw up legislation for officers to be insured. If the officer has a track record of blatant police brutality, then she loses his right as an officer. Immediate firing. It loses that ability, because once you insure cops and they have to pay out of this insurance fund, however it goes, then it's a financial liability on the police department. If I have that solution correct. That's what, from what I understand, he was interviewed by some gentleman, I can't remember. So there's a lot of different ways where you can put in methods or mechanisms, build it into their contract, into these police union contracts, where now you force officers to think 3 or 4 times before they even pull it. Matter of fact, before they even pull their gun out of their holster. Now, I'm not, if it's a firefight and guys is letting off shots at them, I'm not going to think. But if it's a quiet situation like what just happened to this brother, Rayshard Brooks, all right, or George Floyd, or any one of these situations that you know obviously could go in another direction, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go into the next group of songs. And this is Ricardo Williams. He's coming back. Ricardo, what's up, man? What's up, bro? What's going on? I hear they jumping it off in the UK. I see it. So shout out to Ricardo Williams from the UK, man. He's got a new song coming out. His song is called Sorry. And right behind this young brother is Jordan Iman, lovely lady. And she has a song, I Want You Back. Dope song. So listen to Ricardo Williams, Sorry, and Jordan Iman, I Want You Back. And we will be back. All right.
Ooh, a GCOM exclusive.
I don't have no excuses. Gave me all your trust, I abused it. You were the best thing in my world, and I lost it. I don't want any other girl, and now it's too late. All up in my feelings, all up in my head. Wish I could say I'm sorry, regret the things I did. I'm staring at this bottle, wish I could turn back time. Reminisce, take it back to the days when you were mine, mine. Sorry I broke your heart, sorry I made you cry. Oh, I wasn't ready for love, and I know deep down, so I'm sorry for the lies. Sorry I called her for, sorry I did you wrong. Now I'm crying on my knees, say forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby, I'm sorry, sorry. So, won't you pick up your phone? See, now I know that with you is where I belong. Girl, I need you right here with me. Please don't say it's too late. Girl, I'm sorry. I don't really wanna be all up in my feelings, all up in my head. Wish I could say I'm sorry, regret the things I did. I'm staring at this bottle, wish I could turn back time. Reminisce, take it back to the days when you were mine. Sorry I broke your heart, sorry I made you cry. I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for love, and I know deep down, so I'm sorry for the lies. Sorry I called her for, sorry I did you wrong. Now I'm crying on my knees, say forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Please forgive me. Baby I'm sorry.
Oh man,
Check this out.
we're going in with another one.
It's on.
GCOM Radio.
I want you back, but I feel so bad that this happened. I want you back, but I can't get my time back. It happened. I never would have admitted, but when I saw you kicking it, it hurt my soul so deeply. 'Cause I want you back, and I feel so bad, babe. I know it's foolish and it's stupid for wanting more. You keep acting like you over me, but boy, I know all your sweet spots. I know everything that you like a lot. So don't tell me to walk away, don't buy my number, better answer my calls. You know that you love me, so how you bugging? You know that you my dog. You will forever be mine, so don't play with me. You know I'm crazy, won't get nothing past me. You had your revenge, now come and let me in. Let's stop pretending like you don't miss me. Let it all go and listen to me. I want you back, but it feels so bad that this happened. I want you back, but I can't get my time back. It happened, it happened, it happened. I never would have admitted, but when I saw you kicking it hurt my soul so deeply. 'Cause I want you back, and I feel so bad.
Like I'm faking when I say that I'm moving on, I know. I got you real and you doubt it, kept doubting, was forced to let go. But you see how the tables be turning. Lessons from you I was learning. Now my new bitch you concerned with. You act like I did this on purpose. Heartbreak, understand why you had to move like this. Headaches, late night got me stressed and thinking back. Switched up crazy, you forever my lady. Real can't fade away, call my phone like any day. I made up my mind, no I ain't contemplate. You went with your moves, so ain't nothing much to say. I ain't win the games and I ain't finna play. You want a way out, help you find your way. Got me like for love anyway, doing a dash on any stage. Motion split all type of way, ain't got no heart, gave it away.
I want you back, but it feels so bad that it's happened. I want you back, but I can't get my time back. It happened, it happened, it happened. I never would have been it, but when I saw you kicking it hurt my soul so deep. 'Cause I want you back, and I feel so bad, babe.
This is GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a lifer. Practice dollar power and build financial independence.
Okay, that was Ricardo Williams with Sorry, and then we had Jordan Iman with I Want You Back. Dope. You know I always will. I'm never going to put music on here that with half-ass music. Some music you may not like. I don't like that song, but I tell you, it's never going to be absolutely trash. That's what I'm not going to do. If artists is on here, they're going to be dope in some way. You're not going to deny these people. You know what I mean? All right, so before we get into the second segment, we're going to get into the news you need to know. What do we got going on, Nova? I don't know. What do you think? We got to hear that? Sure, go right ahead, sir. All right, the news you need to know.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Around the world and right in your neighborhood, it's the news you need to know.
New Zealand brings COVID-19 under control. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, New Zealand has been disciplined and coordinated. On June 8th, New Zealand announced the last person infected with the coronavirus. The country counted 1,504 confirmed and probable infections and 22 deaths. Even though the country is small and isolated, there were several methods they used to contain the infection. New Zealand used diagnostic testing, quarantining, contact tracing, face mask usage, and social distancing. Contact tracing is done by placing QR codes by businesses and public buildings to create a digital library of where people visited. Their borders are still shut down. However, New Zealanders coming back in the country, they need to be quarantined for 14 days before moving about in the country. Gavin Yarney, director of the Duke Center for Policy Impact and Global Health, says they had one of the world's finest communicators in Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who explained clearly and frequently what was happening and why. She made people feel that they were a part of a communal effort to care for each other. She promoted solidarity, unquote. Byron Allen settles with Comcast on racial discrimination suit. According to some news sources, Byron Allen, the owner of Allen's Entertainment Studios, have picked up 3 cable channels with Comcast as settlement from his $20 billion discrimination lawsuit in 2015. He accused Comcast of violating its civil rights and refusing to add 7 niche cable channels. Byron Allen is happy to move on from the lawsuit and has his channels Comedy TV, Recipe.tv, and Justice Central TV placed on the network. Also, it will launch the Weather Channel app Local Now on Xfinity and Flex platforms and WeLoveWeather.tv website on authenticated basis. Even though the case lost to 9-0 in favor of Comcast and sent back to lower court, the NYC comptroller encouraged the cable giant to come to a settlement with Allen. And that is the news you need to know. All right. Hey, all right, folks, we're back. So, what we got going on for this segment, and we'll close out. Let me just set this clock. You know, I wasn't paying attention to this clock. You know that, right? I was just going off and just talking and doing my own thing. But I promise I'm going to stay within my 15 to 18 minutes on this one. All right. All right. So what do I feel as far as hip hop culture? in code. So hip hop culture in code here. Now we got to stay on code. All right. So we know what is happening with Tekashi 6ix9ine. Everybody knows he's out. He's just doing his Tekashi thing. He's wilding. He's talking crazy. He's throwing up the money with his rainbow hair and color, and he's just all right. He's talking all types of things. Remember that we were talking about all that snitching business. He's bugging out. He's gonna be in there, and a lot of people said they weren't gonna work with him. A lot of people are not working with him, but unfortunately, some people are. So, let me tell you. So I say this with all love, and I'm saying, Akon, brother, you my man, bro. You my man. I like what you're doing, brother. I like what you're doing for the continent, for Senegal. I like what you're doing for hip hop and everything like that. But bro, you do not have to work with Tekashi, because I saw the IG video and you bumping your head and him and doing his thing. So you're collaborating. You don't have to work with this dude. You don't have to work with him. You don't have to work with him. Why are we even going there? Why? I mean, we're not gonna. There's no line. There's absolutely no line that we're drawing. Okay, nah, son, I ain't gonna do that. We all know what's going on. Everyone's privy to the information, from magazines to websites to everything like that. Everybody knows what's happening. Who else is going and working with this dude? Of course, Nicki Minaj is another artist that's working with him. She's posting on her IG account, working with these down. She's mirroring this dude's whole look with the rainbow hair and all that. Yeah, so she's working with him on the name of the song. I don't know the name of the song. I don't really care. But she's working with him now. I'm like, what is going on with hip hop right now? What is going on? It's sad, man. It's sad. So he has this little thing that he's got going on with Meek Mill, talking about he's a snitch too, because Future said if you roll with a snitch, you a snitch too. And he pointed out on his computer that Meek Mill was walking with someone that happened to snitch out to the feds on some kind of drug deal that the people that she was working with. So that would kind of automatically make Meek Mill a snitch. Now listen, there is no code that's actually written down on paper. What is street code? There's some things that we know we don't do, and there are things that we do. Right? For people that are on the street. So Hawkeye, the gangsters, the G's, all those type of folks. So I get where people are coming from there. You have to adhere to the street code, quote unquote. Even Mafia got a code too, right? Mafia got a code. But then, of course, that broke down after a while. So sometimes even Mafia, they don't have a code when it comes to some guy getting pinched. Because they said it was different back in the 60s and the 50s, of course, but things have changed since then. So it as far as the code is concerned, with the La Cosa Nostra, it's different now. But there's a code for every group, for every culture, for every individual that works within a certain group. And there's hip hop, right? So is there a code for hip hop? Is there times where we can say, no, I'm not going to work with this person? All right. I know there's certain people that, and now I'm gonna be real. R. Kelly is one of them. Everybody was saying I ain't working with R. Kelly when that documentary dropped. Everybody said, "Oh my God, that's crazy." I'm not working with R. Kelly, but let's keep it 100. When R. Kelly was dropping that, when that first came out with R. Kelly and Aaliyah, people was still working with that dude, and everybody on the inside that knew what R. Kelly was doing was working with that dude. So let's save all that moral high ground bullshit. So is there a time where we absolutely draw the line? I ain't working with it. And shout out to Flex, because Flex said it even way back then. I remember sitting in my car. Flex was like, fuck this dude. I'm not working with that cat. I'm like, yeah, no doubt. Boom, boom. That's what's up. And I'm in the car and I'm co-signing. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's what's up. Fuck this dude. So now we dealing with this, right? Fast forward. So we supposedly the line was drawn, but people was on the low working with R. Kelly. So now we here, everything's public. Nobody gonna work with this dude. So now we have Tekashi 6ix9ine that was doing wild snitching. I say wild snitching is different from snitching. That's my own vernacular. Wild snitching, where he was swinging bats on everybody and had nothing to do with the situation between the guys in his group, the gang in his group, whatever. He could have snitched on people within his group. No, he was wild snitching. He was throwing in Cardi B. He was throwing in Dim Jones. He was like throwing anything at it just so he could make out a deal. That was what was the problem with the snitching. That's what people had issues with. Like, yo, why are you involving people? But no, my man did what he had to do to save his own skin. So he did what he did. Now that he's out, I'm thinking people are going to turn their backs on this dude. They didn't turn it back on this dude, but you have two people that come up, Akon, and you got Nicki Minaj. Where is the code? Where is the code, man? How do you expect anybody to respect anybody that's hip-hop? Now, you're going to say, what do you mean hip-hop? Everybody breaks rules in whatever music, but this is different. This is our shit. And we got to fortify our surroundings, knowing who is a culture vulture and who don't do good for the culture, and we got to lock them out, ostracize them, put them out. Now, you know what? Tekashi 6ix9ine is going to be rich. He's going to be famous. He got $2 million from a record label or whatever the amount that he gave him. He's got acceptance from the masses, but that don't have dick to do with what you do, your actions, your choices that you make. I'm telling you, individualism and greed will kill the culture. And it has in a lot of ways. It will kill a movement. It will kill a people. Individualism and hyper greed. Because you know what? Akon, they always said, I think Joe Rogan was talking about that when he made that deal with, or someone was, no, I think it was Charlemagne in Brilliant Idiots, and it was Schultz. I think Schultz said this. Andrew Schultz, I think his name is, and he was like, you gotta have fuck you money. And fuck you money pretty much means you don't need to take any deals because you already got cake. You banked up. You really don't need the money. You really don't need it. I don't feel like doing that. I'll do something else. And the deals, there's no a lack of deals happening for your name, for your brand. Everybody's calling you every day. Big brand. So you really don't need the money, right? That's what Akon and that's what Nicki Minaj has. They both have fuck you money. So why, in the name of Black Baby Jesus, is anybody working with this fool? They both got fuck you money. It's a shame and it's sad and it drains me. It drains me to no end that people would always think about money, money, money. There's times where you have to draw the line. Where is a squads is getting in their ear? Where is it people? Nah, that's not a good idea. There are some things that you gotta stand on. If it means to send a message to the outside people outside the circle of the culture saying that will not go down, that will undermine the culture, god damn it, man, you gotta do something. But when you do that, it makes us look weak. Like you could smell any type of, you know who wasn't on that? Who was on code? Rihanna. When they asked her to do the NFL halftime show, she was like, nah, I ain't fucking with the NFL. Because they did Colin Kaepernick. That's what I'm talking about, being on code. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Riri. She ain't need that money. She good. That's the same thing what I'm talking about with Nicki Minaj and Akon, man. You good. You don't need it. It hurts my heart that we still got to do this, man. And I say that, oh, that's just Tekashi 6ix9ine. No, that's indicative of what this person's character is when it comes to money. That's hyper greed. That means you have bank, you have loads of money, but it's still not enough. It's still not enough for you to have your own moral standing. Joe Rogan didn't need that deal with Spotify. He was good. His money was straight. He could say no and not break a sweat. He could go to sleep with a smile on his face because he had his career set. He was making his bread. That was just, hey, you know what? It's here, cool, I could do it. I tell you, if Joe Rogan in any way, if Spotify ever came sideways to Joe Rogan would be like, I don't need you, be out. That's what I'm talking about. You don't need to do that. That's what Joe Rogan stands on. I'm telling you, and Joe Rogan, from what I see, from understanding how Joe Rogan moves, he's not a dude that's gonna be on some side shit. If something funny go down, he'll walk away. And he did say that when he was doing that show. What was that show? That game show he was doing, that Dare show or whatever. I forgot the name of that Dare show. When he was hosting, and he hated it. From if I understand correctly, he would never go back to doing that. That's what I'm talking about. But you always have this, always one or two, man. That's what kills it. It's always one or two, and they gonna smile and they think it's all good. And I'm like, nah, man. That ain't good. That's not good. You look like an opportunist. You know what I mean? You look funny style. But you know what? It don't make a difference because people gonna work with Nicki Minaj anyway, right? Because she's Nicki Minaj. They gonna work with her anyway. So it is what it is. She lives her life. I just wanted to state that when I saw that happening, I was like, and I knew, of course, I knew it was gonna be somebody. It was just a matter of like, okay, it was about timing. Not if, but when. And then to see that, I'm like, man, that's why hip hop will always fail. Because nobody's going to stand for the culture. Because I'm like, yo, bro, I ain't fucking with you. You was wild snitching. How can you imagine this dude took Cardi B, wild snitched, she ain't got nothing to do with nothing, and throw her name in it. You threatened her livelihood. You threatened her life. You threatened her kid's life. You threatened everybody that worked with her by throwing her name into your bullshit. And to Jim Jones. Damn, bro. So I ain't questioning this dude because I know he's a snake. All right? I know it. I'm not going to, well, you snitched too, Meek Mill. You snitched too. Nah, I don't give a fuck. Nah. Look, that one ain't got to do with the other. We talking about you. We ain't talking about Meek. We talking about your coney ass. You don't belong in this culture, bro. You don't belong here. Same way they was getting at Justin Timberlake because he was acting crazy to Prince and to Janet. And a lot of people don't like Justin Timberlake. Hey, man. The culture's already under attack, man. The people's already under attack. What you gonna stand by? What are you gonna stand by? Is everything for sale? It's just a matter of how much? And what are you willing to do it? Are you willing to get on all fours? Lick some balls? Somebody stuff a gerbil in your ass? Somebody shit in your mouth? Somebody fuck your man? Somebody disrespect your wife? All in front of you while you looking? Just as long as it's got a dollar value to it. It's all good, right? So, I mean, you be able to take anything then if I pay you the right amount of money, right? Humiliate you right in front of your family and your friends and just say something. All for some money. I'll give you $2 million. Right? What does that make you? What's your character? What do you stand by? And it doesn't matter how much money you got. When you lose that self-respect, you have nothing. All you got is your money. And what does that say? You alone. People just around you because you money. And that's when you go crazy. Because you know those people ain't there for you. They're there because you got money. That's not an existence. That's not no life to lead. Trash. All right. Folks, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for listening. I'm going to roll on out. I'm going to have me a Cinnabon glazed. And I'm going to call it a night. I'll see you guys next week. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the artists that you listen to. Shout out, and I do appreciate the artists that submitted their music. Big ups to them, man. Keep doing your thing. Keep pushing. Keep grinding. We're all going to make it. And please, people, sign up to Lyfeblood.com. Be a lifer, man. We do have the American Economic Freedom Project that's happening. And I'm open for people to give me a call and talk to me and move things forward. I have some things in the works where I'm going to push it forward right here in NYC. And I'm going to see what we can do in bringing things to life here. So I'm crossing my fingers on that. So, yeah, man, sign up, be a lifer. Let's make it happen, man. Let's build that world, as I always say. All right. So much love to all of y'all. I'm out. All right. Peace.
job.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. For the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go-round. From right here to your town. We out.